Patrick Costas here with an emergency broadcast. Things have gotten so incredibly screwed up in the United States. I don't even know where to begin. So now we have the fake news, which is pretty much all media at this point, rather than a couple of outliers, spinning. It's not even one story. All right, anything, they grasp at anything, any little tiny rumor, anything that's been spray painted on a bathroom wall in the subway in New York City, they post it as an exclusive news report that has been vetted and is fully. This is insanity. Insanity. There's a civil war going on right now in the American government. And there's a good possibility it's going to destroy the entire country. That's why this is an emergency broadcast. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the hysteria over the last 100 and so days of anti-Trumpism and Trump derangement syndrome and these disgusting piles of garbage like Chuck Schumer and Maxine Waters crawling out of the swamp to spread their BS about why Trump needs to go and why it's just every day it goes on and on and on. And that's a big reason why I don't report on it very often, is because it's meaningless. It's all garbage. Everything they say is a lie. But what I'm worried about now is it may be that all the lies are starting to have an effect on the independents, and they're starting to give up hope on Trump. That's what my worry is. And that's exactly what they want. Joseph Goebbels said one time, if you say the lie long enough and frequently enough, people will believe it as truth, regardless of how big of a BS lie it is. And that's what they're doing. They're spreading the same lie day in and day out. They say the same crap. I mean, none of it makes sense. Hillary Clinton sold 1/3, I believe it was 1/3, but you can look it up in Clinton Cash in the book, but about 1/3 of our uranium in this country, she sold to Russia, right, when she was Secretary of State. Nobody investigated that. Not one person, even though that she got all this windfall for the Clinton Foundation, which is essentially their slush fund, and yada, yada, yada. But just on the surface of it, it was good enough for an investigation. Did anybody investigate it? Did Chucky Schumer or that scumbag Waters or any of these other low-life piles of crap come out of the swamp to investigate it? Nope. Because whatever anybody with a D by their name does is golden. But anybody with an R or anybody that's not owned by them, anything you do is wrong. And so that's why Donald Trump is the Antichrist to them. Because they don't control him. They can't control him. They haven't bought him. So they have to destroy him. And this garbage has gone on for months. And there's problems, there's things that Trump's doing that isn't making it any better. All right, for number one, he's got a lot of neocons in his administration. That's certainly not helping matters. A lot of people are in key positions that suck. I mean, he has a lot of never-Trumpers in key positions. I mean, come on. And I think he gets frustrated because these people aren't coming out to defend him. So then he wants to do it himself, but he ends up just giving more ammo to this insane media who uses it for their own garbage. But as far as policies go, not all of Trump's policies are all that wonderful either, to be honest with you. It came out today that he wants to create some kind of a Saudi Arabian Warsaw Pact out of the Middle East. That's the last thing we need. He wants to sell them like one of the biggest weapons deals in history to Saudi Arabia so they can create kind of a NATO down there. That's the last thing we need is a freaking Wahhabi-controlled Warsaw Pact running loose in the middle. What a stupid idea. I'm sorry. It's a completely dumb idea to think that Saudi Arabia is a normal nation that we should arm to the brim and put them in charge of some kind of a coalition of Arab nations. Are you insane? I lived in Saudi Arabia for a couple of years. That is the most intolerant hellhole I have ever seen in my life. And I'm counting Iraq, too. This place was beyond intolerant. I watched women be led around on leashes by men. I mean, it was a disgust. Women are treated like animals there. It's just a horrible, intolerant hellhole. And if they didn't have oil, nobody would care about them. But since they do, they're treated like they're an actual civilized nation. They're not. So my point is, I'm not a Trump bot. I don't buy into every single thing he does is great. I don't think the sun rises and sets in Trump's pants like some Trump bots do. But conversely, I'm not a brainwashed lib either who thinks that Trump is the Antichrist and is somehow in love with Russia. Jesus Christ, he's been in office like 100-something days, and there's not been one piece of evidence that's come out that say he was involved with the Russians. Not one. But you frauds, you idiots in the media, and you brainless scumbag tools on the left, and Antifa, and the rest of you worthless idiots just go along with this garbage. And it's just like, do you really realize how stupid you are? I mean, people like me that have a brain and look at you think you're a joke. I mean, really. And I think the majority of the American people agree. I think the majority of American people think all these scumbags in the media and all these idiots protesting and all that, they're a joke. They're a dangerous joke because they hurt people and beat people in public, and the police don't seem to do much about it. So they're dangerous, but they are a joke. And they're mental midgets and they're idiots. But the fact is, they're the ones controlling social media. They're the ones controlling the worthless media that runs around with, spreading this worthless fake news. And we've got to take the narrative back. And we need to shut them down on social media, on Twitter and things like that. And, there's a couple little tricks for you to do. I think everybody should try this. Wait until CNN sends out a tweet on something to do with Trump, and it's always the same garbage where they're trying to make him out to be the Antichrist. Well, when they do that, you could set a reminder so you get a reminder when they send, or, a notification when they send something out. Reply to it with like it's anything anti-CNN. Like CNN is fake news, or investigate Seth Rich, or anything like that. Watch what happens. Seriously, you don't have to say anything. Just reply with that meme, with a meme. That's it. Watch what happens. You are going to see these uneducated, disgusting little gnomes come out of nowhere with like 1 or 2 followers and a picture of a goldfish or some generic crap on there as their profile pic, and they'll just start viciously attacking you with all these talking points. You can tell they're getting them off a sheet because they're always the same. They always got the same insult. But just go ahead and look at the lowlifes that come out of the swamp to attack you for having the audacity to put a meme out there that was anti-CNN. So it's pretty obvious that CNN or Soros or whoever, a bunch of, maybe a collection of these useless losers, is paying these trolls to basically defend their pathetic fake news outlet like CNN. And, I've done it to like MSNBC and stuff to see, but you don't get the same reaction. So I really think that the only page tool, trolls that they have is for CNN. So anyway, just try it out to test my theory. Just go ahead and reply with any kind of an anti-CNN meme or something like that, and just watch the response you get. And you get a lot of support because a lot of people go out there and like your tweet and stuff like that because they hate CNN too, and they're probably doing the same thing I am and trolling them. So anyway, the point is this is a battle for the future of our country. It truly is. And if we don't start winning it, we're going to lose the country. And I'm dead serious on that. If these scumbags and these leftists and these agitators and these traitors keep taking control of the narrative, we will lose this country. Simple as that. I mean, look at the chaos that they've created in just a little over 100 days. And this is going to keep going and keep going and keep going unless we strike back with our message. And our message is one of truth and common sense. So it should easily blow them out. And I think what the problem is a lot of us work. A lot of us have, responsibilities, and we have a life, and we have families and things that we like to do. And we're not losers like these people whose whole life is stuck on this liberal BS. They're on some kind of a liberal jihad they have to see all the way through. Well, we're not like that. We're good Americans who work 40, 50, 60 hours a week or whatever. We come home, spend times with our family. So don't spend all day on social media or on our YouTube channels or whatever trying to point out the stupidity of these idiots. I think a lot of us believe the stupidity is self-evident. So why should we have to point it out? But the fact is, we need to point it out. We need to shut them down. And we need to prove that they are, just ridicule them if nothing else. Just laugh at what jokes they are, And the other thing is we need to get the truth out by when you see a news story that's actual news story, I mean, that's a rare thing. And you've got to spread that out on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you use. We've got to get that out. We've got to overtake the fake news social media broadcast, or whatever you want to call it. We've got to start fighting back. We've got to get our messages out there. And I'm speaking to myself too. I haven't been doing enough lately. And a lot of the videos I do don't have anything to do with this, because to be honest with you and with my followers and my viewers, my health has been declining lately. So I've been having a harder time staying up on my videos and being in tune. I'm hoping that my health will take a turn here, and I'll be able to get a little bit more into it. But, you know, quite honestly, it's exhausting dealing with these morons, and I understand that. I mean, they're just so dumb and ignorant. You can't have a conversation with these clowns. That's why I never bother doing it, because they're so brainwashed and ignorant. It's useless. And a lot of them have an IQ that's, you know, very small anyway, so I don't even think they can comprehend what we're trying to explain. So they just resort back to their failsafe, which is you're a fascist or racist or whatever, any kind of ist that they can dream up to try to them, that's devaluing your argument. We all know that doesn't devalue an argument. That's what people do when they've got nothing, they have no argument. This is probably the biggest crisis that has ever happened to this country in my lifetime, certainly. I mean, the government's out of control on multiple angles. We have people within our own government angling for a meaningless war with Russia so they can make money, I guess, or control the narrative or bring down Trump's presidency. You have these sickos like John McCain. I mean, yeah, maybe he was a hero at one time, but dude, there's something wrong with that guy. I mean, he's just such a bitter neocon scumbag. I mean, he's just bought and paid for by the defense industry. I mean, he's just a disgusting person. I mean, every war he sees, he wants to be a part of. I mean, he wants to get involved in it, and he wants to attack the Russians, and we got to nuke them, and we've got to do this. And I mean, he's just a free. I mean, really, Arizona, why do you elect this pile of crap? Do you guys love war that much? I mean, I just don't understand it. Oh, you know, people vote for Maxine Waters, and dear God, really? Why? I don't understand why these freaks get voted in. But anyway, I digress. We are in serious trouble. That's what I'm getting at. And this could possibly potentially bring down our entire government. Did you see what happened with the stock market today? It went through the floorboards. Are you telling me people like Soros aren't coordinating this with the scumbags in the media to kind of do an all-out blitz on Trump? I'm sure that's what they're doing. If they can hit him with this garbage and make it out like he's mentally ill or he violated the law somehow, and also get the dollar to collapse, he's done for, and they know it. So these people are all working together and, you know, trying to make this false narrative that Trump is incompetent. The truth is, there is a lot of incompetence in the government, and the majority of it comes from the Democrats. The Democrats have no message, they have no point, they have no purpose. Their only message really is Trump bad. And that's all it's been, and that's why they lost the election, and that's why they're going to lose the next one too, because they've got no message except for, oh yeah, we're right because we're leftists. Okay, that's great. Or I'm right because Trump's wrong. Oh, that's great. No specifics, nothing like that. Oh, okay, cool. I mean, these lowlifes of the world are literally going to end up bringing the whole damn casino down if this keeps up. So I'm going to get into the game. I'm going to make more videos on this and do the best I can to get information out on this threat to our national security, quite honestly. I may do a lot of videos that other people have done, and I'll try to copy certain parts of them out and get it out just to get the information out. I don't make a dime off my YouTube channel. They demonetize everything I do. I don't do it for the money. I don't give a damn about the money, to be honest with you. I work 50 hours a week, and I come back and I try to give you guys, the news that I think that you want to hear, or, the news that's important for your daily lives. And I'm going to continue doing that, and I'm going to try to step it up despite whatever physical problems I'm going through or illnesses or whatever. I'm going to try to fight through it because what is in the balance is too important. It's a country that I fought for, my father had fought for, my grandfather had fought for, the country my kids are going to inherit. The costs, it's like the election with Hillary and Trump. It was too important for me to sit out, and so is this. The fight continues, but I think it's actually worse now. I think it's worse now because it's actually becoming more irrational, more delusional, and it's pushing itself. Right now you're looking at a civil war within the government. If these lunatics keep up with this rhetoric, it could actually turn into a real civil war with real people dying, and that scares the hell out of me. And we have to stop this, and we stop it by getting our message out. Now I'm going to show you a couple clips from some other folks that did their shows today, and that'll show you what kind of trouble we are in.
What are some of the other big shoes to drop here?
Right now, my number one priority is I just got a text message from somebody actually. So let me see if I can get this out real quick. So they were actually watching us live, and he had told me that he just saw my tweet about the Schedule C's temporary employees. He said it's actually worse than what you said. People are being told they have a permanent position, but their paperwork is not being processed. It's being stalled. And then half of the original Trump supporters are actually being told they will not be reappointed. My estimation that only 15% of Trump people will be given permanent positions is probably too high. It will actually be fewer than that. So 90% of the pro-Trump people, May 20th to May 23rd, they're all gone, man. Thousands of people.
Well, I know this. We're in a very historical time right now, Mike, and political action is the answer. I see the globalists and the leftists all going crazy like this right now because they know their time is short. They know humanity's waking up to them. I mean, I really think that's why this is happening.
No, it's 100% why. They gotta get rid of the people who actually got Trump elected, squeeze out the Trump supporters, keep bringing in the never Trumpers, keep leaking classified information that Trump didn't even have, so that you're jeopardizing national security. I think they want a terrorist attack, to be honest. I think they've lost their minds so much that they want to frame Russia for a terrorist attack and hope that that'll implement World War III.
And that's right. And we've got to get back to what we were doing during the campaign, Trump or regardless, defending liberty, getting info out, realizing the fight just begun, like I said on election night. We just want to battle. The war has just begun. Mike Cernovich, thank you so much. We're going to lose the whole country to a bunch of bloodthirsty communists and pedophiles if we don't back the president. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got intel here that I've not been allowed to tell you, but there is a civil war going on in the government right now. Even having commercials right now. You know, when we have a new Iraq war for like a week, they don't have ads on radio. Or when their 9/11 happened for about a week, there were no ads on radio. I don't have words to describe to you how much trouble this country's in. The Democratic Party has been working for the Communist Chinese for at least 20 years. Because, see, once they took money from the Chinese, they all got compromised. And now a lot of the Republican leaders are working for them. And I have a lot of intel I'm not allowed to share with you that's directly from the president. And he will not, just like Assange won't release sources because that's the cardinal rule, even though Seth was one of his sources. It's the same thing with the president. He won't release classified information, even though it defends everything he's doing. And everybody's trying to figure out how to do this right now. And I'm going to say it right now. You get Oberman saying, release your leaks now, existential threat, Russia, release your info on Trump. It's the other way around. All the agencies, the news media, everybody, there's no future if you don't release what NBC, CBS, all of them are doing. Everybody inside government, everybody inside these corporations has to start releasing the crimes, the lies, the frame-ups, or we're going to go into a civil war. The globalists are going to lose this. They were going to lose the election. Trump had like 65% support. They had fake polls. I told you that. The CIA and FBI people know that the globalists are going to lose this civil war, but it might kick a nuclear war off in the middle of it. They're crazy people. It's like the German high command. They weren't good guys, but they tried to kill Hitler in '44 because they knew he was going to destroy Germany. Well, it's the same thing with globalism. It's horrible. You don't want it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for the rich people because it ends up imploding everything. But they're so selfish, they want to make everybody else poor so they've got all the power. And I, in the last week, have been privy to a lot of the stuff going on in the White House. And obviously, as things get more desperate, they realize how right I was, and I get even more intel. And I have information from a bunch of different sources in the White House. And then I've got to ask them, why am I even being told this? Because I'm not allowed to tell people. But I'll just tell you this, the communist Chinese are the enemy. And Trump tried to make side deals with them to stop being so belligerent and out of control and to stop manipulating our internal politics. And they just basically walked away from it like the Chinese communists do and said, oh, yeah, sure, we will, but then ignored it. And now you've got everybody, the deep state goes to war with President-elect using unverified claims as Democrats cheer. That's Glenn Greenwald, a real liberal at The Intercept. I've told you that for months. The deep state is at war with Trump, and we've got Colonel Schaefer coming up saying it's an information war, and the president has to realize they're not going to give him any quarter, and it's time. You think he committed a crime? How about all the crimes of Obama and Hillary? Sessions, move against everybody. America is being taken over by foreign powers right now, ladies and gentlemen. And so under the Constitution, the president can do anything to anyone who is an admitted officer of that globalist corporate takeover. This is 21st century war. We're going to lose the whole country to a bunch of bloodthirsty communists and pedophiles if we don't back the president 100%. And it's just like the weatherman told the FBI in the hearings that came out in the 70s. They always plan to use the communist Chinese to take over America, but they thought it'd be physical. Instead, it's economic. And then a bunch of collaborators in the government go along with it. God almighty. If people just knew, it's so obvious. Chucky Schumer, Hillary, they're all literal foreign agents.